Hey, what's going on, people? It's SGZ here from the SpartanGameZone, and in this video I'll be going over 5 legendary weapons that, come balancing time in less than a couple of weeks, will be back to the high standard they deserve to be at. These are 5 former top tier legendaries that you'll want now, so you're ready for when that patch comes and they become great once again. I'll be telling you what they do, what makes them so good, and where you can go to get them so you can have one for yourself in preparation for the Guardian takedown. And do let me know what guns you're looking forward to using again when the fixes come. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you could drop a like, and let's get into it. The first weapon that will hopefully see itself back on top soon is the Brainstormer, a melee one shotgun which has an increased chance to drop from Krakatoa ball. You fight here at the very end of Skywell 27. The Brainstormer was replaced, pure and simple, by the Mayhem 6 Plus Reflux, which operates in the same vein but dealing considerably more damage and only coming in Corrosive. The Brainstormer was the original king, always coming in shock and dealing extreme damage to crowds of enemies. Its unique effect causes chains of lightning to spike between opponents, dealing more damage the more chains you have active. With a maximum of 5 chains running simultaneously, the Brainstormer can deal some heavy damage to a pack. It has a decent fire rate, nice magazine size, and because it's manufactured by Hyperion, you also get that small manufacturer critical bonus that goes with it. It's not that great one-on-one, but that's because that's not what it's made for. It's made for frying the circuits of multiple foes at once, tearing through shields and anything else they have on underneath. With the Guardian takedown coming, which will hold a lot of shielded targets, the Brainstormer will no doubt be a top choice weapon, and I encourage you to get one now to stay ahead of the curve. Next up, the Soul Render, a Dart Assault Rifle exclusive to DLC 2, which can only be dropped from either Tom or Zam, who you fight here in Heart's Desire. The Soul Render is another gun taken over by the newly added weapons, and currently doesn't compete with the Monarch or OPQ system. That'll change soon though, and the Soul Render will be back to where it was, tearing it up in style. The Soul Render is an extremely well-rounded gun, dealing good damage prior to the patch with a high fire rate. It also periodically fires purple skulls that'll home in on your target, dealing splash damage and raising its DPS even further. It can also come in all of the elements, which is a great trait to have. It means you can always find the perfect one for the situation. The homing skulls not only help you to hit out of reach targets, but allow players to leverage its splash damage potential. All in all, the Soul Render was formerly top of its class, and with the balance patch it should be back there again soon. Now to the Cutsman, another melee one gun, this time an SMG, that has an increased chance to drop from Borman nades. You fight here in the Meridian outskirts. The Cutsman is just all round reliable, a boss dropper and a mobbing machine all in one. At least it was prior to Mayhem 2.0, and no doubt it'll be back there in not long at all. It comes in incendiary, fire and shock, the classic elements, and means that there's always a Cutsman for every type of health bar. It fires a pair of elemental projectiles that move slowly and travel apart as they do so. A laser is formed between the two and will slice through anything, at least until they hit a world surface. That's how it gets its name, the Cutsman. It cuts down groups of mobs and bosses too. It's adept at both, and it was always my go-to when taking on Wotan, the Agonizer, the Compactor, you name it. The Cutsman might not have been the best against every boss, but it was always right up there, and it would be great to see Old Faithful by our sides again. Moving on now to the Krakatoa, a melee one sniper rifle that has an increased chance to drop from the Rampager. You fight in the Forgotten Basilica. The Krakatoa got hit extremely hard when it came to the Mayhem 2.0 introduction. A 300% baseline one used to defeat Grave Ward in less than a magazine, but now look what it does. Seriously, look at it. What is that? Anyway, it's all about the Sandhawk now, but the Krakatoa will be back. You can count your chickens now. Not long ago, the Krakatoa was a beast, always coming in incendiary and melting the face off of every opponent you set your eyes on. It does need to be charged before firing, but once fully charged, the Krakatoa will fire rapidly, and it took very few of those shots to down your opponents. Its damage over time was also high, and often high enough to finish off whatever you were shooting at. It's still really good, as you can see from the gameplay, but just imagine how good it's gonna get. It comes in two key variants, Stark and Abundant Stark. The former deals the most damage while the latter deals a little less, but with more rounds in the magazine. Whatever variant you get though, there's plenty in the magazine to deal with whatever you'll be fighting. Last up, the Hyperfocus, another SMG, but this time manufactured by Hyperion, and it has an increased chance to drop from the Go-Go Power Troopers you fight here in Atlas HQ. The Hyperfocus is another SMG, outgunned in the most part by the Khalsan, and certainly nowhere near as good as it was. It fires a single projectile that splits off into two more when in contact with an enemy. The extra pellets are fired out the left and right side at a 90-degree angle and will ricochet off a world surface. The ricochet effect is where it gets its damage from, as they often rebound back into your target, upping its damage by up to 200%. Although a little situational, it is a great effect that catapults it to that pre-Mayhem 2.0 top tier. The ricocheting projectiles do some serious work, especially on a Ricochet Amara build, which can increase the number of them. It's another gun that can come in every element, and they do drop frequently, so now's a good time to go and get the right one, so you'll be ready to fight when the true Hyperfocus finally returns. So that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned of 5 formerly great legendary weapons that will return to greatness come the next patch, which is not too far away. If you did, consider dropping a like or subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next one.